fun to go through some of the things that I am talking about in my new upcoming book. And in the beginning of each chapter, and sometimes in the beginning of different paragraphs, I try to frame it. And in one of the first chapters, I'm framing that by saying that, and I'm going to just read it out of the book here, but find inner harmony so you can find harmony with your horse, because harmony between horse and rider is the greatest success. It's the best thing that we can have. And it's really important that we know this is something that we want to be seeking out. And when people find it with their horses, it feels so good. It feels amazing. And it's something that is wonderful for the horse as well. It feels really good to the horse. And the horse starts seeking out the human, seeking out that connection, and looking for the harmony between themselves and you. And when your horse starts seeking that out in you, you guys start being able to find that more often and more often and more often. Now, what is harmony? So what does it feel like? So harmony, it can feel like a lot of different things, but it can be those moments where you're maybe sitting and grazing with your horse. Many have experienced this, and your horse is kind of looking at you and you're looking at your horse, and you can see there's this interaction between the two of you where you're both just soaking up the sunshine, soaking up the grass, and it feels good. So it's a harmonious kind of feel. This can be riding your horse and you just position your seat slightly and you ask your horse to maybe move a little laterally, and your horse is just right there, almost feeling like it's with your thought. These are the things that we're looking for. And these are the things that can really bring a lot of joy into our riding. And having joy when we ride, that's why we ride, right? And we want to be offering our horses something that we kind of want to be the part of the day that your horse is looking forward to, right? They're looking forward to you coming to the barn and going and doing something fun with you. And if you're offering them harmony in many different moments, and if you're seeking the harmony out, the horses, they definitely look for us to be coming to the barn. When we're looking for harmony too, what it does is it causes a reflection internally for ourselves, because we need to find a harmonious, peaceful feeling within ourselves in order to be able to get that in a relationship with our horse. And that means that we need to let go of the day's stresses. We need to let go of our plans oftentimes. Oftentimes, horses will have a different plan for your session than what you're maybe coming to the barn thinking you're going to work on. And you need to be willing to be okay with that and go with it. Because if your horse that day is more forward, well, you might be working on things that involve being more forward. If you can tell your horse is having kind of a cranky day, you might just go graze and let them kind of decompress like you would be decompressing. And the same goes for yourself. If you're coming to the barn on a day that's a little more stressful, you need to change your plans and not work with your horse with a high amount of energy, because that feel is going to transfer to the ride and it's not going to be as easy to find the harmony that you're seeking out. Now, in this book, I'm going to be going over many different stretching exercises you can do in the very beginning of your ride. And it's a fantastic way to warm up, because oftentimes we get on our horses and we're thinking, well, we need to do this, 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 and we've got a plan. And we start riding our horses and having an agenda and working and focusing on them. And if we can go to the ride and warm up and allow our horses to stretch, out, stretch long and low, maybe go for a little walk as we ourselves stretch, what we start being able to do is we start being able to go with our horses, and we learn to blend with their movements. And once we can blend with a horse's movements, we can then direct it. If we're not able to blend with our horse and find harmony in the beginning of the ride, it's going to be hard to direct our horses, because then we're going to be contracting muscles, pushing, pulling, asking for things in a way where it's not congruent with where a horse is at that moment. When you go with your horse initially in the beginning of the ride and you work on yourself and you do some stretching, what it does is not only is it going to get you loosened up and you're going to be able to find a much more centered, balanced position for your ride, but it's also going to allow you to find the harmony in the ride. You're going to find harmony with your horse because you're blending with your horse's movements. And when you're finding this harmony in the beginning of the ride and you start the ride out with that, you're setting the stage, you start the ride out with this harmony, with this wonderful feeling of you and your horse going along together. Then as you start asking your horse to do things, you can be seeking that out and finding the harmony more regularly. What stretching does is it gets us to be quiet. And when we're quiet, it makes it a lot easier to listen to our horse, to see what is your horse telling you? How are they feeling that day? What areas do they need a little help with? And in the book, I encourage you the whole time, you're asking questions and you're listening to your horse. You're trying to find what are the pieces that your horse needs help with? What are they telling you about you? Because horses are awesome mirrors. They tell us a lot about ourselves on any given day, but we need to be able to see it as such. And in the book, I talk a lot about that. But the book's not out yet. It's coming out in a week, and I'll keep you posted on that. But in the meantime, what I would love to see you do is I'd love to see you go into your rides without an agenda, get on your horse, and just find some ways to blend with them. That might look like going around the arena and just rubbing your horse on the neck. If they like that, you need to watch your horses. Some horses don't like to be rubbed on, or the timing might not be right. So be aware of that. If they're good with that though, you could rub on their neck, reach back, rub on their hindquarters, or you might just go along and ride on a long rein and ask your horse, what do they feel like doing today? I mean, do it safely. I don't want you to get into trouble, but see what your horse is aware about. As you're riding around and they're on a long rein, what does your horse think about? Are they looking off at a dog? Are they riding straight and just thinking about the arena or the trail? Maybe you're on a trail and they're thinking about their feet. So these are all things that allow us to be more aware, find that harmony, go with our horse, and then once we are in this space, all right, the space of harmony, the space of communication, the space of listening, the space of being quiet, then we can do a lot and we can get a ton done. So that's my challenge to you. I'm going to be hopping on live, I don't know, every so often here over the coming weeks and just going over each of the little kind of framing. I probably won't get to all of them because there's a ton of them, but the things that I would like to have you start framing your rides with. So anyway, thanks for joining me live, and until next time, happy riding.